and welcome to Loving the Time of Hydra, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 10th Anniversary podcast. We're bringing it back to March 24th, 2015. Oh, you won't believe it, but Uptown Funk was still the top song in the U.S. The top movie at the domestic box office was the Divergent series, Insurgent. The Opportunity rover completed a Martian marathon, marking the first time any vehicle had traveled more than 26.2 miles on the surface of another world. Buffy star Allison Hannigan turned 41. X-Men The Dark Phoenix's Jessica Chastain, which she's best known for, of course, turned 38. And Lake Bell, who plays animated Black Widow and animated Poison Ivy, turned 36. But the most important thing that happened on March 24th, 10 years ago, was the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode Loving the Time of Hydra, aired on ABC at 9/8 Central. Hello, I'm Jamie Jirak, and I am here with my co-host, my boyfriend, and level 2 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, Tony Paletto. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, everyone listening along. It's our namesake episode.
This is so special. I've been thinking about this episode for months. I wanted it to be extra special. And guess what? My dreams came true because it is extra special. We got an awesome guest today. You've seen her on Castle, NCIS, Grey's Anatomy, films like Fatal Affair, and American Sicario. But if you're here today, you probably know her best as Agent 33. Maya Stojan is in the house, everybody.
Welcome.
Intro. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Oh, I'm so happy you're
excited.
here.
Me too.
I wanted you today to be on this episode for two reasons. And the first one, we named our whole show after this episode. So that's obviously special. And you're who I think of when I think of this episode, which is funny because you're not really in it a lot, technically.
Right. I'm so
really
honored.
Yeah, I really guessed her. I was like, oh, it's been 10 years. She might not remember. She's either going to think I tricked her or that I think nanomaths are real.
Well, I think they all kind of had to mimic my tone, I remember, or like my gestures. And I think they all did phenomenal. Like when I was rewatching it last night, I was like, oh, wait, that is kind of my mannerisms and my pattern of speech as, of course, Agent 33, not in real life. But yeah, so I thought they did phenomenal. Yeah.
Oh, I love to hear that. We're going to dive into that a lot. But before we do, Tony, do you want to tell Maya and our chat how we run this show?
Yeah. So just if you're going to say anything spoilery in the chat, just tag your spoilers so that people like me who are watching the show for the first time are protected and don't get things spoiled for them. That would be ideal. Also, because we have Maya here, Jamie will be taking this opportunity to go deep on the character Agent 33. And these are things that I can't hear and not allowed. So we will be doing our favorite segment, Tony Leaves the Room, earlier than usual to give Jamie and Maya the floor on this.
We're kicking him out. Maya, before we get really deep into this episode and Agent 33, I have to bring up kind of a full circle moment in your career. Because in 2010, you played Stan Lee's assistant in an episode of Entourage.
I know. The things like that in my career have happened. And let me tell you, it has nothing to do with me meeting Stan Lee at that point. It was just, yes, it was a full circle moment. And I remember, Entourage was my first ever co-star, I believe. Wow. And it was my first ever role. And meeting Stan Lee was just like, just mind blown. But I was truly, I want to say a nobody. It's not that I was a nobody, but I had, no experience whatsoever. And I think on Entourage for 2 seconds. You'd have to really just pause and
open a door.
Yes. Oh, you watched it. Okay, great. But yes, and then the fact that then, 4 years, what was it? 4 years later? 3 years, 4 years later?
Just about 4, yeah.
Yeah, just being able to play this dream role just felt so magical.
That's pretty amazing. And kind of a fuller circle. Obviously I was looking at your IMDb page, and you have a movie, a project coming out called Bite that was directed by Mariah Wall.
Yes.
She was in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't even know about that. What? Which episode was she in?
She's in a season 1 episode, Seeds, which they go to S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy, and so she's like a S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy student, basically. And
She's one of my best friends. We have not talked about this, and she's been my best friend for I feel like I don't know 5 years, 6 years. That's so funny that we've never made the link. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, now you have to call her.
Well, now we have
Yeah.
to talk about next time we're on the phone. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really funny.
I love that. So you already talked a little bit about how so you said that Ming Na Wen and other actors were mimicking you, like like watching your character on screen, knowing that it's your character. What was that experience like as an actor? Was there like a process to it where they kind of developed your character mannerisms and stuff?
Yeah, I mean that would be a question to ask them, but I do remember Mingna and Chloe specifically telling me that they had watched kind of the mannerisms and my voice tone from previous episodes before, which I think was only 2 at that point, right? Or something like that. And so yeah, I feel like they captured that my essence as Kara really beautifully. But from as far as I'm concerned, I mean, yes, of course I had to watch it and know what happened in terms of my character for future episodes. And that said, it felt totally in alignment with what was about to happen,
Cool. Yeah.
Isn't it weird as an actor, because this episode is so big for your character and so many of her emotional beats, you don't get to play them, and I feel like that might be bittersweet, or even maybe it's cool from an actor standpoint. Do you remember how you felt about that?
I'm not sure. I mean, even rewatching it, I was like, "Oh wait, I don't think I'm in this episode. Wait," and I had to kind of like, "Am I?" Like I then actually looked through my emails to see if I had a
call sheet.
Yeah, call sheet from that day, and I was like, "Oh wait, okay, I do show up at some point." And lo and behold, I won't say any more. But no, I mean I don't think it affected me on any level to hear that other. I mean, I knew that this was bound to happen, and I'm glad it's not a spoiler. Just having the nanomass that I was going to be transforming into multiple different people, so I knew it was bound to happen. But it was cool. I mean, they're all of them are fantastic actors. So
did you get to ever watch them? Were you ever on set like when they were doing you?
The only time I believe that happened was with Ming Na, because her and I, what was it? Like we fought to, I don't know, there was a fight scene and
There
then
was, yeah.
she transformed into me, I transformed into her, something happened. Am I talking?
Face my enemy. It's crazy. It's one of my favorite episodes of the season. It's bananas what you guys do in that episode.
Yeah, so that alone, yeah, I think that was the only time that I really witnessed her being me or me being her, however you want to put it. But yeah, it was confusing. It was confusing to say the least. I do remember that. I was like, wait, so is that me playing that role today? Or yeah.
That's fun. That's a cool acting challenge. I think people probably want to hear a little bit about your casting process, if you remember. We know it was 10 years ago, but did you remember auditioning for this role?
I do remember, because nowhere on the sides was it written anything about being a Marvel show or even the name of the show. My name was something totally different. And so I had no idea what I was auditioning for. And I remember going in, and Tamara Hunter, I believe, was the one that read with me. And she was so lovely. I knew her from couple casting director workshops I had done with her. And yeah, just read with her maybe once or twice, went home, and then I hadn't heard for like a week. So of course, you move on as an actor. You're like, okay, well, I guess I didn't book that. And then it was a random call So I didn't have to, there was no callback, there was no producer session, none of that. And then they finally told me, my agents told me, it's like, it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you're going to be a Marvel character, all of that. And I was like, what? Because, yeah, I mean, it was an extraordinary feeling for sure.
Yeah. Our last guest, Gio, he was a stunt guy, but he had an acting role in the previous episode, and he said the same thing, that he auditioned and didn't hear back for like a long time. He just said, "Oh well, I guess that's the way they do it over there."
They're trying to torture you.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I mean, you're not even, you get, I don't want to say so many auditions, but you get auditions enough that you move on after a couple days or so that you don't hear. You just like, well, but this one I remember, and I think as an actor, I feel like it often happens that way. When you least expect it is when you book it.
Yeah.
The times where I'm like, I did a fantastic job, like this is the one, like that, nothing ever happens from that. But when I'm like, well, who knows? And then you're just full shock, like, wait, what? That one?
Yeah.
That's the one they want me to do? So yeah, it was amazing.
When you got wind that it was, a Marvel show and you were playing a character from the comics, did you look into her? Did you research her at all? Read any Agent 33 stuff? Because she's super different. She's like blonde and like a historian and like kicks ass sometimes. So what was that like?
Totally. Yeah, well then I knew there was a reason they cast me. And then I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm the same, similar skin tone, hair, Mingna, Chloe, like,
Okay.
because I looked her up and I was like, whoa, like I look nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The answer is I don't know why they picked me. My assumption was along the lines of like, after I discovered that Mingna and Chloe were gonna transform into me, and I
That
figured
makes sense.
maybe it was easier to find someone similar height, similar hair. Like I'm not delusional and being like, my acting was just the most phenomenal. Like
You're not the only 5'5" brunette in town. Your acting must have done something. Like,
yes, that too.
I didn't even consider that. Like, oh, it does make sense. There's, there is a quality there. But a fun thing about Kara in the comics that I really love is that she's like a Hercules connoisseur. Like, she's like knows all the Hercules. And Brett Goldstein played Hercules in the latest Thor movie, and that had me thinking: do you keep up with the MCU? Do you watch it? Did you like see Hercules and be like, I know all about him?
No, to be honest. Short answer. No, but no, but yes, I mean, I definitely researched all the Hercules, researched all of Kara at the time. Now please don't quiz me on it because it's but I do remember doing that research and thinking, wow, how fascinating. Like what a random liaison, of those two worlds, for sure.
so when this was airing, Castle was airing at the same time, so people could literally see you on that show on a Monday and then see you on this show on a Tuesday. Were you ever at any point filming them at the same time?
Yes, I was. It was wild. I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, what those were the most amazing days. I mean, talk about a dream. So yeah, no, there were times where I had to play Tori Ellis on Castle, which is, super tech nerd. And then I think it was probably the next day, then I had to be Agent 33 on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I remember thinking like, this is the life, like this is what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were airing on the same week, or can't remember exactly, obviously, the details, but I just remember loving it.
That's wicked.
Cool. There's a lot of fandom crossover too. Like a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans love
Really?
Castle. So, oh yeah. There's some love for that character in the comments as well. So you've got some dual fandoming happening right now. Speaking of the fandom, I think this is really interesting. So the love in the time of Hydra can pertain to a lot of people in this episode, but I think it is mostly about Ward and Kara. And I learned from friend of the show, Jackie Rogers, that there used to be some debate that Ward was brainwashing Agent 33. Also, I want honestly just think he was kind of gaslighting her. Do you think, like, do you think, have you heard this debate before?
I have not, but I can see why that would happen, because even just watching it last night, I was like, interesting. Just his behavior towards me and his caretaking. And I know I say something, well, actually, spoiler, maybe. No, maybe not. But yes, I'm very much like, I have nothing to offer you in return, and him being my savior. Like, what are really the reasons behind? I mean, is it truly love? Is it true? I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
I know how I felt, and I felt truly in love with him, as my character, and truly felt like he really cared about me, and he was the only one that was really there for me.
Oh, I like hearing that. That's we like love to hate Ward. So
We
I'm
do.
always thinking the worst of him. But I do think that there, even if it's like a toxic weird love, it's kind of like Kingpin and Vanessa over on Daredevil. Like it's messy, but it doesn't mean it's not true.
Right, exactly. There's that toxicity that's there. But I think, you know, as the character, you never really want to look at that. You don't want to judge it. You want to just
Mhm.
go to the top of your emotions and feel what you feel. Like, just reading
Mhm.
it, I was like, she loves him. She believes she loves him, you know?
That's right.
That's
So I
a
did.
little icky. I love it. It's great. Before we kind of go through this episode a little bit, we do have to shout out that it was written by Brent Fletcher and directed by Jesse Botko, who directed a
Yes.
lot of the show. And then Ward has not been neither Ward or Agent 33 have been in the last few episodes, so like they're finally back. We haven't seen Ward in a while, but Tony, I have to ask you, watching this for the first time, what do you think of Edward James almost showing up in this episode?
Fucking love Edward James Olmos. He's one of the
So
coolest
great.
actors. There's so many things I could say about Edward James Olmos, but like, he shows up in for 2 minutes in Blade Runner 2049, and this is about around the same time as this show, this episode would have aired, but like, he just brings so much power. There was that movie that Joaquin Phoenix did called I'm Still Here, where it was like a fake documentary about him becoming a rapper, and it's kind of weird and indulgent, but like, I remember vividly the trailer for that movie just being like this really beautifully cut 1 minute trailer to Edward James Olmos's voice telling Joaquin a story about, you're a water drop, you're on a mountain, and then you go into the sky and you come down and you're like, what am I doing in this riverbed? I'm a mountaintop water drop. And it's like beautiful. Like, I don't like that movie very much, but I've watched that trailer periodically just to hear him be so poetic and cool. So like, just to see him walk in and bringing all the authority that he has, that is just gorgeous. Oh, I love the man.
Maya, did you spend any time with him? I know in this
Yes.
episode you don't. I thought
Yes.
you do. You eventually.
Well, to be honest, I don't even remember on screen, but off screen, yes. Off screen, yes. And just nicest, down to earth human. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Brilliant.
Yeah.
One of these days, after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to make him watch Battlestar Galactica, but not today. That's not what we're here to talk about.
You got it.
I know that, like, I'm sure, like, you have not sat down and watched all 7 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but, like, you watched this episode yesterday, and just as, like, a television viewer, generally, what were your thoughts on this episode? Did it grip you? Was it more like, when am I showing up?
No, absolutely. No. I was like, okay, when is my turn? No. I thought it was great. It was full of twists and turns, especially between Bobby and Hunter. Is that their character?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a lot. I mean, yeah, it felt like a lot of twists and turn. Ming now so agreeing about Chloe's character and situation. I don't want to say too much.
No, it's okay. So you're towing the line perfectly.
But no, I felt it definitely. I feel like every episode that I watched of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, I don't want to say was a fan. I am a fan. I think it's such a well done show. There's just such great characters, and just you can justify everyone's behavior and what they're going through on their journey. And yeah, it's just a really cool show. So just rewatching it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like this is, yeah. So great episode.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Tony, I obviously need to know how you felt, because are you happy that I named our podcast after this episode? Do you feel good about that choice?
I feel like when we were talking about starting this podcast, you were like, I think it would be cool if it was like an episode title, because there's some really good ones. And you threw out 5 or 6. And I was like, I mean, Love in the Time of Hydra is the best one. And we both agreed. So I was funny because I forgot. I didn't know, obviously, I don't keep up with this show beyond week by week. So when this episode was upon us, it was really exciting. It's our name episode. But I dug this one a lot. I like I'm really frustrated in a good dramatic way with this whole like new Shield, other Shield business, because Clark Gregg, Agent Coulson, is my dude. He's my favorite character on the show. I love him so much. He's compassionate. He's got it all going on. And so seeing him just kind of bring the team to the brink of failure so many times and win counts a lot. And Edward James Olmos over here, who I also love, clearly, is saying, no, that doesn't count. He's not right. He's wrong. He's overstepped. He's unstable. And to watch like Bobby, or to watch Hunter like sit there and have to take that and answer sincerely that they're kind of right is like, they are kind of right. And it drives me nuts. Like as I said before, I never thought that Mac and Bobby were doing anything secretively malicious. I knew that they were still on our team. So when it's revealed that this is where we are, I'm frustrated, but nobody's really the villain in this situation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's my
that's a good point. It's a little sad. It's like, what's going to happen?
It hurts my feelings.
I love that. Yeah, sorry, I was going to say also, Love in the Time of Hydra, it just applies to so many of the characters. It's not just, I feel, there's so many different types of love going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
100%. It's a great title. Obviously in our context, it's about me and Tony. So it just depends on the day.
Love that.
Speaking of love, the episode starts in a diner that I think might have been the same diner they used last week. Not 100% sure, but I think it was. And this is like a real Pulp Fiction nod. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Down to the pumpkin pancakes, because Tim Roth is called.
Oh, I didn't even catch it.
Oh, come on, Tony.
That's amazing. Right. The first thing my husband was watching it with me, and that's the first thing he said. He was like, "Is that the diner from Pulp Fiction?" I was like, "I never even thought about that," but yes, it sure seems like it.
They're doing the whole pumpkin honey bunny thing. It's really cute. Tony, I'm curious, like, Maya talked about it a lot. I just want to know how you're feeling about this romance.
I don't like it. Because I don't sorry, Maya. Like, I think Agent 33 is quite unwell. Like, she literally came from like this history of having her mind manipulated and taking commands based on like verbal cues in like a brainwashy super soldier kind of way. And now, as soon as she's free, she has this romantic fixation on a provider. She needs directives and she needs a director, and she's got it in him. I don't think it's good. I think it's bad. I think it's dangerous. I haven't seen beyond this episode. I'm worried about your feelings and how you're going to get through this.
Thank you for worrying about me. And it's funny because even as you were talking about, just the lines are blurry, right, between evil and good. I mean, I know, that maybe perhaps not for the viewers, but at least in my eyes, I was never the bad guy. I was a victim of my circumstances, and I was doing my best to survive. And I fell in love with this, wonderful man that saved me, and I can't imagine anyone not loving him.
Sure, you're right. You're doing your job correctly. He has just been.
It's hilarious for me to hear this.
Yeah, yeah.
Tony needs to be Agent 33's therapist, I think.
Probably.
We have to talk a little bit about the sky of it all for this episode because Gemma and Fitz are butting heads about it again. Gemma compares her to the Hulk, and I was like, how can we make this sad scene fun? So Maya, I'm going to throw one at you if you need a second to think about it. In real life, is there a Marvel character or a Shield character that you think you're most like?
Ooh. A character that I'm most like on the show. Ooh.
I know it's a tough one.
And that's kind of the beauty of it. I mean, I could because I was immediately looking at, Ming-Na, Chloe, Elizabeth, the female leads. I am pretty analytical, so the person that came to mind is Elizabeth, and it's probably the person I remained the closest with past the show. So I could see that, and I could see, but I can also see, just the old teenager version of me being Chloe's character, where Sky. Sorry, I should say their
Doesn't matter.
That's okay.
names, but Sky's character, just with the anger bursts and just like her being very emotionally available, if you will, put it softly, mildly. But yeah, and I can see myself in all of them really, and it's the same with Ming-Na, just like being I feel like she's just such a queen, like she's just so embodied and confident, and just, yeah, she's like the higher how I wish I was.
Yeah.
I love that. That's always a risky question, but wow, did you nail the answer? So I'm glad I asked it. Tony, Sky eventually gets taken to the Avengers safe house. She gets these protective gloves from Gemma. I just want to check in on how you're feeling about the trajectory of the storyline.
Watching scenes like this is one of the things that makes me like constantly be defending Coulson, because he's so paternal, you know what I mean? Like he's doing such a good job of caretaking Chloe Bennett's character in this. So I think she's I started this show in the first few episodes of the first season not liking the character of Sky. And then by the end of the first season, she was one of my favorite characters on the show. So and it's because she's continued to just show how strong and capable she is. And I trust that she's going to get a handle on this. Obviously, I mean, it's a TV show. I know she's going to get a handle on it, but like her arc and her performance. And I think like, I'm proud of her. I'm like, she's gotten the fact that she's gotten this far, that she's still making an effort and keeping her wits about her is commendable. So I like that scene a lot.
Cool. I love that. Jumping around a little, I want to talk about the nanomask because we've seen it in the Winter Soldier. It's such a big part of this season. It's funny to me that you can only download 3 faces. I think that's a really funny detail about it. But Maya, do you remember, what was that like on set? What do you hold? Like, is it you have nothing? Do you have a tennis ball? And your face completely practical makeup? Do you have any dots on there? Do you remember how they did that?
Yes. Gosh, I feel bad that I don't remember all the details, but it was dots on my face. And I don't remember. I think there was a mask there. I could be inventing that though. My memory, I don't know. But I feel like there was a see-through mask, something going on, and I do remember putting on the mask.
That's cool.
And then just yeah. But I mean, the CGI, I mean, talk about just like geniuses. I mean, just the way it all functions and works. I mean, my mind was blown, especially at the time where, now of course you see it a lot more than you did, but just it just felt so advanced and so
for network TV too. I mean, I think that makes it even more impressive.
I know.
We're always shouting out the effects on this show.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm blown away by them for sure. And just such lovely, incredible humans. So shout out to them as well today.
And Mark Volpak, we love him. So we gotta talk about like what is kind of it gives me the ick so hard, but it's such a good scene where the Kara coming out as Sky scene.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just like it's upsetting on so many levels. Do you remember like reading it or seeing it for the first time? Because I just typed in my notes like this poor woman. I just like feel so bad for this character.
Yeah, but it's so funny because again, like remembering it, I did not come from a place of like, this is weird, this is sad. I was just like, well, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what he wants, and I want to give him what he wants, you know? Um, so it did not give me the ick. I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of hot. This is kind of yeah, I mean, and then
That was my
what
takeaway too, by the way.
yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm glad I'm not alone. I'm glad I'm not just a total creep.
Yeah.
And I felt even after watching it, and when he's like, "That's not what I want," I feel like that's a win, you know? It's like, wait,
Yeah,
he did
Totally.
want her. And
agreed.
I felt kind of like, wow, he really loves me. You know, it was kind of a confirmation. I was doing this for him, thinking there's no way he could possibly love me.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's like, no, I would like that. The love just exploded right then and there. I was like, all right, we're in, you know, we're going to end
Yeah.
up together. It's going to be great. Right into the
Love
sunset.
that.
I love Brett Dalton's delivery of like, I'm not insane.
I
He's
know.
not like totally convinced of it. I love that line delivery. It's one of my favorite moments for him. Tony, I just want to know how it felt for your brain to hear Ming's voice coming out of Chloe. It's weird.
Like, what do you? I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, it was her just like, you know, all of the women on the show are gorgeous and they all have their own attractive personalities. So it was like, this is the weirdest amalgamation of entities that have influenced Ward in some way. So it was like, it's very psychosexual. I thought it was super interesting. But I also was like most satisfied with Ward. Like, it's like he's always reeling me back in. It's like I can't stand Ward, but his denial of the advance was a pretty classy move. So I'm like, oh, respect to that. And I still don't know what he's up to. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know his plot. I think he is in between good and evil. There's this whole other gray sphere he's operating in. So like, yeah, it was strange, to answer your question.
That's so funny. I thought everyone loved Ward. I must be on another planet.
But maybe I've only seen it like up to now, right? So like
Right.
I'm expecting some kind of retribution down the line. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, and it has to be noted, like, I love to hate him. Like, I love his character because it's I love a villain. I love and he is like he's so deluded and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
I want to move on to the whole military base because I freaking love Talbot. He's just such a funny character. But there's so much going on here. He's getting all these women. He's smooching their faces. But one thing
so funny, by the way, the chasing. I can't. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and like obviously you have to suspend a little bit of disbelief because like they're obviously not sticking people's heads on your body, and like there's like a guy playing him, and this guy Shannon McClung is his name, and he's credited as short officer, which really makes me laugh. Did you meet him? This guy that played you?
No, I did not. I didn't meet any of the people that day. I mean, I met Talbot, but his wife, that scene also was just so crazy when he's, telling her to get on the floor. Anyway, yeah. So no, I did not.
I like how much of that sequence was just like fucking up Talbot's life for a day. Like he just started out having a real nice time talking about riding lawnmowers, and by the end of it, like he's humiliated himself. He's failed to stop a security breach, and his wife is not sleeping with him. Like they just wrecked Talbot's day, and that was such a good like comic sequence.
Yes, I forgot how comedic that whole scene was.
It's always a nice to get to. Okay, post credit scene. Maya's back. We got She's in this episode. I swear, I knew it. She's here. This is a really big turning point for you. It's a powerful scene. You guys kidnap Bakshi. You're torturing him. Do you remember filming that specific moment?
Yes, I do remember it. Yeah, and I mean, the makeup was just phenomenal. I thought. I mean,
Yeah. No, you're right.
I was blown away. RJ, I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he just and then it keeps evolving, right? My whole, like, from, me having, I'm not spoiling anything, right? That was before.
No, you did that already. You were tortured already.
Right. The torturing, the burn, like my face went through just so many different moments, and then the eyes slit, like, credit to him. That was incredible. So yeah, just it felt so real on my face, and just needing to, like, there was a lot of shame and embarrassment there. And then just Bakshi's Simon, there was so much joy in that revenge. There was so much, just it felt so right.
I love the way you say it really won't make a difference. Like, you're not here to
Right.
get anything from him. You just want payback. And I like that
Yeah,
about him.
yeah. Feels so good. Yeah.
Getting tortured by a 1997 screensaver on TV.
Right. I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. We are gonna kick Tony out soon. Before we do, Tony, we went faster than we normally would through the episode. Was there any moment that you didn't get to comment on that you were like, I must discuss this?
Yeah, I would only say one thing, and that is that the thing with Mac lying to Ming's face, he's a really talented liar, and that is kind of surprising. He's just such a big teddy bear, and he's such an emotionally available character. So I was like, oh man, you're really good at the spy part of your job too. So that was really interesting to see. I'm concerned about the friction that is causing. But no, I think that's basically all my points.
Beautiful. We nailed it. I'm so proud of us. Before we kick Tony out, so each week in this arc of the season, we have the Art of Initiative, Art of Evolution. Every episode gets its own poster. I love this week's poster. Maria, do you have this one? It is like a ward and multiple faced Agent 33. This was created by Annie Wu. She's a comic creator who worked with Marvel and DC. And Tony, you'll love this. She also was a storyboard artist for Venture Brothers, which we were just talking about last night. And I want this poster because it's the Love in the Time of Hydra poster. It's an episode poster.
How do we get it?
Maya, do you have this?
It totally rings a bell. And I was gifted so many beautiful posters, and I had them at my old home, and I have them somewhere. This one for sure I've seen. It is stunning and beautiful and so poetic. I feel, I'm seeing it for the first time again. Let's put it that way.
Yes, and I had never seen this one until today. Some of them I've seen in many. Next week's episode I used to have, but we raffled it off at a con last year. But this one I'm like, we need to find this. I need this in our home because it's beautiful.
It is.
Speaking of beauty, that's not a good segue. We're kicking Tony out. Tony, it's time for me to get out.
Great. It's time for me to leave the room. Maya, such a pleasure.
Such a pleasure, Tony. Good luck with, your journey on this show.
Thank you. I feel like I'm going to need it. Have a good one, guys.
Have a great one.
Bye.
Take care.
See you later. He's in the other room. We live together. It's just easier to podcast.
He's just closing the door, putting headphones. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. This is where I'm like, oh, I'm a loud person. I'm from New Jersey. I have to tone it down a little bit,
We'll keep it low.
No, yeah, you can yell. He can't hear you.
Okay, great.
Okay, yeah. So, I do want to just jump right into Kara's end, because this death is the death in the show is so tragic, and just gets shot by Ward accidentally, and he does in the next season, it makes him go crazy. He really spirals. But do you remember learning about how she would go out? How soon in the process did you know your character was going to die?
I think it was the episode before I got a call. How wonderful is this? I got a call from the top producers and writers. And they were like, it's nothing you've done. It's just the way the story goes. And they were just so wonderful about it, which was so great. And I don't know that I had any clue that it was going to happen, but I was like, at some point, something's got to shift. Something's got to give. We can't just be, Bonnie and Clyde
Happy.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm devastated. I remember being like, okay, well, it's part of the story. But they did it so well, so respectfully, which I thought was really, that doesn't happen on every show. So props to them. And yeah, and I mean, once I read, they didn't tell me how I was going to die. So that was also like, oh, how am I going to die? So once I did find out, I was like, whoa, okay. And actually, just doing this podcast, I really do want to watch the whole thing again. Like I am actually curious because I've forgotten a lot of the pieces and puzzles. So props to you as a great, show host. Creating
that's what I'm trying to do.
Yes, well,
Keep
you're
the
doing
conversation going.
You're doing a fantastic.
I hope that you I hope you watch Seeds with Mariah, her episode. I hope that you call her up and say, "Let's watch your episode."
Yes. Do you know what season she? I'll talk to her.
It's season 1. It's season 1. The episode's called Seeds.
Yeah, we definitely didn't know each other then, for sure. So. Yeah,
I think that's so funny. As we've talked a lot about, we may hate Ward, but we love Brett, and most of your time on the show is spent with Brett. Do you remember, I know how on sets there's a lot of downtime. Do you remember having any fun goofing off behind the scenes?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. We actually, he saw that I was doing this podcast and commented on, on Instagram through my story. So I was just like, oh, how have you been? And yeah, we remained friends, past the show, and he's just a great guy. I mean, he's we had a lot of fun. He was so respectful, so fun and complex, and just a talented actor to work with. Like we had fun kind of, but and quite serious. I remember just like on set, like just very into his craft,
I love that. He is pretty. When I years ago, I moderated the Shield 100th episode panel with the cast, and he afterwards, my mom loves Ward, so afterwards he made a little video for my mom.
Really, really your mom and me, we get it. We know, we know what's up. Yep.
Yeah, kinship there. Earlier, you already kind of talked about how you don't see Agent 33 as a villain. She's complicated. Things are broken, but she does do some nasty things down the line, including torturing Bobby. Things get pretty dark.
Right.
How did you? I think playing a villain is fun, and but there's so many layers. How did you take that, this arc for her?
Yeah, remind me real quick what led us. I know we're in this hangar kind of.
So basically she blames Bobby for what happened to her, for her getting kidnapped by Hydra, and she kind of she's looking for because Ward kind of convinces her you got to blame somebody, and so they torture her bad. They've got under her fingernails.
Yes,
they break her kneecap. It's pretty nasty work.
No, and I remember all of this. I just had a challenging time reminding myself what was the trigger point for her, or was it just fully Ward, telling me that she had done this to me.
So the chat knows. The chat are my experts. They want you to know that if you want to watch Seeds, it's season 1, episode 12. They want you to know that Bobby gave up the Shield safe house that Agent 33 was in. So basically it was just about closure.
Gotcha.
Folks are saying in the comments.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, again, justifying all of it. I mean, if you don't see me as a villain, it's well, yeah, she really messed me over, and she really, she allowed this to happen to me. And now I've got the love of my life telling me that, yeah, on top of it, it's it's really, her fault. Then of course I'm going to go along with that. And, hurt people. Like I
Put it
suffer.
on a t-shirt.
I mean, I suffered so much through this whole process. And yeah, I guess this is my revenge era. Like, and doing it with someone who is on board with me, like what could be better, you know? What could be more fun than doing it with a partner, you know?
That's again comes all back to loving the time of Hydra.
Yeah.
This is, a basic kind of question that we, in my interview life, we like to ask sometimes, which is just like, do any memories stick out, like from the set or anything, like whether it was behind the scenes or something? You talked a lot already, and I know it was 10 years ago. So if you're like, Jamie, I'm done.
No, gosh, no. I just remember it being the loveliest set with the kindest people. Just everyone wanting everyone to be at their best, and just everyone collaborating really well with each other. It was a very jokester kind of set as well. Like, yeah, everyone was just super fun. Memories that stick out. I mean, yeah, just in our downtime, it was just so, like, everyone was so grounded in reality. No one took themselves too seriously. Just, yeah, I have nothing bad to say. I mean, all great memories. I know it's boring, right? It's boring.
No, no,
Something
every
juicier.
time I speak to someone from the show, no one's gonna be like, it was bad. No one's gonna say that, but you can tell by the way everyone talks about it that it genuinely was good, and that's really sweet. And that's part of the reason why I do this, because it's just so lovely. We have a couple questions from some listeners, from fans of the show. Our Jeremy, he is our avid Shield props collector. He has over the years acquired many things from the show. So he wants to know if you kept anything. Like you said, you had some posters, but do you have any props?
I mean, I do have my Hydra sweater on. Just saying.
Oh my god!
I mean,
that's incredible. I can't believe I didn't clock that. That's amazing.
I have one Hydra one and then one Shield one, but I was like, okay, love and the time of Hydra. So no, I mean, have I kept anything? Yeah, I and these were gifted to me at Comic-Con. One of the Comic-Cons I did. But did I keep anything? I mean, I had to sign a bunch of cards and posters. So again, I have a bunch of those, which I love. But as far as, props and things like that, I didn't sneak one in my bag or no, I don't have the nano mask right here to just be like, here it is.
Whoa. I mean, the chat is freaking out about your jacket. Like, that is a really cool jacket. Another question from Muzshek07 on Blue Sky. We're trying to make Blue Sky happen, so we'd love to get questions from Blue Sky. They want to know, since so many people from the show got to play you, and aside from May, because you got a little bit of May, is there anyone that like you would have liked to, as an actor, been like, I'm Colton today, I'm going to channel Clark Gregg, if you could go back and do that?
If I could channel anyone on the show. I mean, Ward, probably.
Yeah.
Like, just, just like step into, like, just in the most creepy, delicious way, just like step into his shoes and see what it was like for him. I don't know. Yeah.
I love that. Do you want to give us your best? I'm not insane.
I'm not insane. No, I honestly, like, yeah, I'd have to rewatch it, but yeah, I mean, it to me, it was like, yeah, no, you're not. Like, I get it. But yeah,
I love that. So the MCU right now is like in the multiverse saga, which means there could be 1,000 Agent 33s, like infinite Agent 33s running around the universe. As I said, I want to see her hanging out with Hercules. If you could show up anywhere, like you're with the X-Men, you're with Iron Man, is there anything that would be like the dream, or just like you could play somebody else,
I mean, I love Iron Man, I do. I love Robert Downey Jr. I feel like, yeah, sure. I mean, any of that. Like, if someone called me and they were like, they want to bring you in as Agent 33 on, one of the Marvel movies, shows, my mind would be blown and I'd be the happiest human alive. So yeah, I would not be picky. It's not like one would be like, no, sorry, I
No,
really want to be on this
thanks.
one. No, yeah, my mind would be blown and I'd be so happy.
I love
For
that.
sure.
Finally, I like to ask everybody this, and it's basically just from your time on the show. Is there any, or just even in your career in general, is there anything like as an actor that you don't get to talk much about that you would like you have a platform right now that you'd love to share, give out to the world?
What would I talk about? I think just about how wonderful it is to be an actor. I mean, I'm sure it's talked about a lot, but just, how blessed are we to do something where we get to play, at our job. We get to have fun. We get like I just feel like the craft is just such a beautiful, all immersive way to connect with humanity, have compassion and empathy. And as I said, like I didn't see myself as a bad person. Like this was, all justifiable. So I think that's probably why I play a lot of evil people on TV, is because I just am able to tune into what that would be like, because I feel like we're all capable of anything. I mean, truly, if the right reasons came along, then we're all capable of just so much good and bad, and um given the right circumstances. Yeah, so I'm just in love with what I do, and I feel like that would be the most
I love that.
logical thing to talk about, but yeah.
That's a beautiful answer. I'm gonna make, because like obviously a lot of what we just talked about Tony can't hear, but I'm gonna be like, he's gonna love that answer. So I'm gonna we'll have to clip it for him so he can see it, because he's gonna really
I
appreciate
love
that.
that.
He has a lot of respect for the craft. Not to say I don't, but he likes to talk about it more. So I think he would really appreciate that. Speaking of, like I said, Bite is coming up. Is there? I don't know if you can talk about that, or if there's anything that you want to
For
plug a little.
sure. I mean, Mayetta and I are potentially working on our next project as well together. She just cast me in her next show that she's producing and directing. So that's very exciting. But yeah, Bite
Cool.
is amazing. I mean, I just talked about, you know, playing evil characters is kind of my jam. And while I play a very complex human in that one too, more to be revealed. But yes, she is not
Okay.
your goody type. Although I've played a lot of wonderful humans that are perfectly normal and kind and great. But I my preference is complex characters.
Of course. Yeah.
With
I
just
like to picture you in 2010, like making like 10 pages of backstory for Stanley's assistant. Like, what was she like? What's her story?
oh my gosh, and at the time, that was everything. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that too, people probably don't talk about that enough, just like a one-liner on a show like Entourage felt like this is it. Like my life has been made. I have a line on a TV show. Um, it was just the best news ever. And then, I think I remember like a bunch of it was cut or whatever. And when you're new to the industry, you're like, what did I do wrong? But then you realize, okay, well, it's
Yeah.
nothing to do with me. But yeah, no, I mean, just even those one-liners, if you have any actor friends and they tell you they've got
Mm-hmm.
one-liner show, just make it a big deal, because it is.
Oh yeah.
There's hundreds of
We live
people.
in LA. I got lots of extra friends, and it's always exciting. We know the hustle. I feel like your background, is this your self-tape background?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a
Really good.
bunch of them. I'm actually in my garage and I'm so warm.
Oh.
My 2-year-old is napping inside, so I was
Oh.
like, gotta be here, gotta wear the jacket, like gotta sweat for this podcast. It's all
We
worth it.
appreciate you. That's so nice. Thank you so much. Where can the people find you? Like on social media, or
Yeah, I mean, I would say on Instagram is probably the easiest, Maya Stojan, it's spelled, Stojan. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the easiest where they can find me, but I'm just so glad to
Great.
be here.
Thank you again. This has been so much fun. Like I said, I wanted Love and the Time to have your 2 special, and you helped make that happen. Tony didn't. We kicked him out really soon, so I want to shout out Stephanie at Eclectic Music for doing our art. Ryan Miera of Yellow Pills for doing our music. Reminder to follow us at LidoPod on Instagram, Blue Sky, all those places. Like, subscribe, share this episode, tell your friends. Maya was on. They got Maya. Look at Jamie. She's doing so good getting people on this podcast.
You were made for this, Jamie, by the way. Like, you're such a
Thank
good
you.
host. You're incredible.
Thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, I want to shout out to producer Maria. Thank you, Maria.
You're very welcome.
Next week, we are back with the episode One Door Closes at our new time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Our April schedule is going to be a little weird because the Lido crew is going to Japan. So keep an eye out for our schedule. That's going to be fun for a couple weeks. Thank you again. Thanks to everyone in the chat. You guys were having so much fun today, and we appreciate you. We'll see you in a week. Goodbye.